Yo, YouTube, what is up? We have Tekken 8 Beginner's Guide with the main man, SWE. I don't know who this guy really is. I've seen him on Twitch a few times. But I said previously in the stream that I was trying to look for a beginner's guide for Tekken 8 and how to move in Tekken. And this is actually perfect timing because this came out like 6 hours ago. So we're gonna check this out, see if this guide is actually good.
What's up, guys? Main man Sui here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always.
Sweet!
Welcome to the Tekken 8 Beginner's Guide, where I'll be your coach and I'll be showing you the basics of the game, but also pointing out that Tekken 8 has a lot of built-in resources for you guys. To start things off, maybe we should try looking at the characters. First thing you want to do is perhaps pick a character or characters that you would like to play. Tekken 8 has
Victor,
a huge
King.
roster, it's very vast, 32 unique
King has always
fighters
been my
that all
main
have their own.
ever since I was a kid playing Tekken in the arcades and stuff. Like Dave and Buster. I think Chuck E. Cheese had Tekken as well. But King has always been my main. Heihachi wasn't really my main, but I'll play him sometimes because I thought he was cool. But I know he's not in this game, but maybe I'll play Reina.
Personality, story, fighting style, they all represent different
But it depends
martial
on how I
arts,
feel.
and they play in very different ways. When you're new to the game, my feeling is you should just follow your gut feeling. Go with the character you think looks cool.
Yeah.
Among
That's
the
every
Tekken
fighting game I
newcomers,
feel
we
like that.
find Victor Chevalier, refined
Yes, sir.
violence, a man who will
Hold on, we
bring
gonna check
any
this guy
tool
out?
to get
This is perfect. I get to learn a little bit about Victor
the job
while
done,
getting this little
including
guide.
a sword, a gun, and
Probably.
a knife, and he even teleports. Newcomer is also Azucena, the coffee queen from Peru,
never mind.
who specializes
We're
in
not gonna get a lot of
evasiveness
Victor, I
and
guess.
tricky mix-ups, and also the perfect blend of coffee.
Supera la mezcla de Azucena. ¿No creen?
Final newcomer is Reina.
Okay, is that
mysterious
Spanish or
fighter
is
with
that-
a fresh face?
What type of
and a
Spanish is that?
remarkably familiar fighting style.
Somebody let me know. That's the new
Among
Heihachi
returning
right there.
characters, we have many legacy fan favorites like Kazuya Mishima, the son of Heihachi Mishima and the father of Jin Kazama, who plays a central role in the story as the Mishima family feud rages on. Kazuya is known for his brutal, heavy-hitting Mishima-style karate. Also returning is Paul Phoenix, the self-proclaimed strongest man in the universe. Paul is
In the universe?
surprisingly flexible and
In the
evasive
universe.
for a man of his size, and also known for his super hard
There's no way.
strikes.
This guy right here, the strongest in the universe? Ain't no way, bro. There's no way. This guy right here in Tekken 8? Why do we even have
Huge
conflicts
fan of
anymore?
wrestling like I am, you might be looking
If
at
he's
a
the
character
Gojo of
like
this
King who has, like,
series,
an endless supply of
then
throws from any given situation.
he should be able to handle any conflict. Sir, there go my boy
My
King.
advice as your coach is just to go with your gut feeling. Go with the character you find looks cool or plays in a fun way that appeals to you. And then with time you can try other characters as you'll get familiar with them as you play against them. Or maybe you play story mode and you set your eyes on someone else and you want to devote time to them. It's also true that certain characters are more difficult to play than others, and some are easier, but you have to remember that every character offers something for every level of play.
Okay. I just want to know how to move. Arcade. Wait, hold on. Nigga, bro. Just learn the basics, please. I'm trying to learn, I already know
In
everything
Arcade
about this
Quest,
game.
We also find basic tutorials.
I just wanna
for
learn how to
the
play.
battle systems of Tekken 8. Let's take a look at those.
In Tekken, we attack by pressing attack
Why you say it like that?
buttons,
In
and the way it
Tekken.
works is that every fighter has one button assigned to each limb. So for example, on PlayStation, we press square to attack with our left arm, Triangle for the right.
I feel like it's
arm,
better on the fight stick
cross
though.
For left kick,
It's kind of
left
difficult
leg,
to
and then circle
to
for
press
right leg.
triangle and X at the
Special
same
moves can be
time.
performed by
Or
combining
press
these attack buttons with
square and
directional inputs or combining the buttons
square and
to find these
circle at
attacks.
the same time.
Check your
I don't know why I had a brain
movements.
fart there.
To guard against incoming attacks from your opponent, hold back. To guard low attacks, hold down back to do a crouching guard. And what you see here, me guarding as Jin, pulls big sweeps. This is actually a tutorial found within Tekken 8.
Yeah, I know.
The game has a lot of helpful content
I played it.
and resources to help out beginners.
Didn't
on
work
their
when I played
journey
online
in
for the
becoming
beta.
better Tekken players. And don't forget
Niggas
that
was busting
Tekken,
my
you
ass,
don't
especially
need to block
Asu
attacks if you
Senna.
don't want to. Use the space around you.
Which
Tap up or down to
Obviously
sidestep
is a
evade.
knowledge tech type of character. A big knowledge tech type of character. And her buttons are crazy.
Combo starters are particularly powerful attacks that put your opponent
Man,
in an
what am I
airborne
watching?
state.
I just want to learn how to do tornado, stars, move, maneuvering, bro. I cannot maneuver in Tekken 8. I just can't. Especially with a fight stick. That's even harder, I feel like. Okay, that's not the god I want. That wasn't the god I wanted. Let's see. See what I can find. How to move. Yeah, I saw a few of these. Okay. This is 4 years ago. Okay, Tekken 7. This should be relevant though, because the mechanics shouldn't have changed that much, except for the heat mode, of course. But yeah, and it has 1 million views, so I'm gonna check it out just based off of that. Hey, just this video should be in the game. Okay. Okay. Seems like a lot of people are saying that this guide is pretty good. 21 minutes though.
Four main buttons.
Kind of long.
1, 2, 3, and 4. These correspond to the limbs on your
But it's a notation. I just want skip ahead.
Tekken is a 3D fighter, meaning you can enter the background and foreground by tapping up and down respectively. To continue your movement along this direction, you can implement a double tap and then hold the last directional input to walk. You may also backdash with a double tap away from the opponent and begin a run towards the opponent with a double tap forwards. You may also backdash with a double tap away from the opponent and begin a run towards the opponent with a double tap forwards. Defense in Tekken is a little bit weird, but if you played a game like Street Fighter, you will be familiar with the mechanic of holding backwards to block. Attacks can be categorized as high, mid, and low, with a very select few being special mid.
Here.
High attacks can be blocked standing or evaded by ducking. These attacks are normally the quickest option and quite low risk. Mids must be blocked with a standing guard, as if you're crouching, they'll hit you. Mids are often quite strong, medium risk attacks to check if your opponent is ducking a lot. Lows must be guarded with a crouching guard. Alternatively, if you foresee your opponent utilizing one, you can use an advanced technique called a low parry. A low parry can be utilized by holding down forward during the enemy's low animation. Lows are often high risk, and if they're quick, they're normally quite weak, while stronger ones are very slow and normally quite reactable.
Hold on, let me see that again.
Low parry utilizing one must be guarded with a crouching guard. Alternatively, if you foresee your opponent utilizing one, you can use an advanced technique called a low parry.
Interesting.
A low parry can be utilized by holding down forward during the enemy's low animation. Lows are often high risk, and if they're quick, they're normally quite weak, while stronger ones are very slow and normally quite reactable. Lastly, we have the more niche category, Special Mid. This is showcased as a green mid icon in practice mode, and you'll often see this attached to your crouching jabs. These can be blocked with either a standing guard or a crouching guard.
Okay.
Separately, we have a few unique attack properties. Homing moves are utilized to catch people stepping to either side of your character, which can be seen as having these white sparks around the attack.
Okay.
Screw attacks are moves which, when used on an airborne opponent, will spin them onto their back with their legs up. This allows you to extend your combos one more time.
Okay.
Power Crush attacks have an armored component, allowing you to neglect all attacks except for lows during your startup. They are susceptible to being thrown, as you cannot break a grab during your Power Crush attack. A move called a Rage Art shares this Power Crush mechanic, but does not have these downsides. You can be killed during your Power Crush attack, so it's not like you're invincible.
Yeah, I know that.
You'll be able to identify when your opponent is using one, since they'll have a white aura. Lastly, we have Unblockables. Unblockables are normally very slow yet powerful moves, which break your guard and deal the damage anyway. There's normally some kind of particle effect around the character when they're mid-animation, and you'll be able to see an exclamation point during training when you're using one.
Okay.
You automatically enter Rage around 20% of your health points remaining, and in this state you deal slightly more damage and have access to your Rage abilities. Your Rage Art is an armored move that, if landed, will showcase a cinematic attack dealing massive amounts of damage. Now, a Rage Drive is normally a powered up version of another move your character has. You can see when a character is using the Rage Drive, since they have a big blue aura.
Yeah, this nigga Kuma looks so
Using
basic
other
in
rage
this game.
ability will end your rage state, removing
It's
your
literally a
single
bear.
damage buff. In Tekken, there are 6 universal stances your character can act out of, with one of them actually having 4 sub-stances that I'll talk about after. Some characters also actually have 1 or more extra stances unique to their own character. The first is known as your standing state. Where you stand still or move less than 3 steps in any direction, you'll be able to utilize all your standing moves. Secondly, we have your crouching state, where if you hold down or any downwards direction for a little bit, you'll enter the crouching state and be able to utilize these moves.
Okay.
Thirdly, we have your while standing state. This is confusingly labeled as while rising in the game's move list. This is when you are transitioning from your crouching stance to your standing stance, which can be done simply by letting go of your crouching direction and then hitting any input you want. The game lists these moves as while rising, but the notation of WR is dedicated to while running moves, so the community coined the term while standing, also known as WS.
Okay.
This leads us to our while running moves. We're running more than 3
Yeah, my
steps
brain
will allow
hurts.
you to utilize your character's while running moves.
I
It can
gotta
be quite
probably
deceiving to
rewatch
know when you've
rewatch
actually
this
entered
again.
your while running stance, as even though your
Like
character
off
may be
stream.
running, they're technically not in the while
Not
running
recording.
stance until they're 3 or more steps into your run.
Okay.
Alternatively, you may skip this build up by tapping forwards 3 times and then hitting the button you want.
Oh.
This is quite an advanced by tapping forwards 3 times and then hitting the button you want. This is quite an advanced technique and will require a lot of practice.
Okay.
You can see what unique moves you can access out of your while running stance, as they will have 3 arrows and then the input you want.
Okay.
If you run 3 steps but less than 4, you automatically perform a tackle. You can click 1 and 2 over and over again. Less than 4 will have 3 arrows and then the input you want. If you run 3 steps but less than 4, you automatically perform a tackle. You can click 1 and 2 over and over again to punch the opponent. They must guess what button you're pressing to get you off. Run 3 or more steps and then press 4 and you'll do a
But how do you get them off though? Do you press the button that they're pressing? I'm guessing.
Run 3 or more steps and then press 4 and you'll do a slide low kick and go to the other side of the opponent.
That should look goofy as
If you run
hell.
the maximum amount of steps, I think that's about 4 or over, you automatically perform a shoulder tackle, which gives you the power crush mechanic. Over, you automatically perform a shoulder tackle, maximum amount of steps, I think that's about 4 over, you automatically perform a shoulder tackle, which gives you the power crush mechanic. Finally, and definitely the least, you have your jumping attacks. You can jump by holding the upwards direction for a little bit, and then you'll have access to a few moves. As expected, being on the ground whilst your opponent is standing over you and
Hey yo, the pussy muncher. Nah, what? The dick muncher, the pussy muncher? What is he doing?
If you are knocked down, your opponent is now probably planning the okizeme. Okizeme is a term used in Tekken for attacking a player who's either on the ground or trying
Hold
to
on, let me pay attention.
If you are knocked, unless you're lay. If you are knocked down, your opponent is now probably planning the okizeme. Okizeme is a term used in Tekken for attacking a player who's either on the ground or trying to get up off the ground. If you have been hit up into the air and you land on the ground with your feet touching the floor, which is not the same as being hit by the first screw attack, as you can see your legs are a little bit up into the air.
Is that the term that
You can
fighting
try
game
and press
people be
punch
using?
button to
Oki? Hold on. I gotta check on something. I'll be right back. Alright, Alright, okay, Zeme.
roll to the background,
I was saying,
or a kick button to roll into the foreground.
that's a term that a lot of
You are
fighting
very
game
safe
people
during these
use.
rolling animations.
Oki, right?
Every time you get hit whilst on the ground, you can try and tech this with 1 or 2 and get up off the ground quickly. But say you miss the tech and now you're on the ground and in trouble. Holding back is a wonderful place to start. This is normally the safest option when you are face up and feet towards. There are technically 4 stances you can be whilst on the ground. This is normally face up, feet towards, as I said, but you can be face down, feet towards,
Pause.
or you can be face up, feet away, or face down, feet away. You may also tap up to get up in place, tap forwards to roll, which combined with a 1+2, you'll do a little slow tumble where you plus on block.
Interesting.
You can also press 4 for a mid kick, or 3 for a low kick. Both of these are unsafe, I think they're around -12. You can also use both kick buttons for
Really?
a spring attack. Yet
And that's
generally this is
universally
a
for
better
all
way.
characters? -12? Or is that only for this character?
Speaking of bad ideas, if you hold down and then click 3 or 4, you'll do a toe attack. Now if you land this toe attack, you'll roll backwards, but if you don't, you won't roll at all and you'll be -15.
Okay.
Lastly, you can press up and 1 or down and 1 and you'll roll into the background or foreground respectively. It can be quite frustrating in Tekken because sometimes they label a stance very clearly and sometimes they don't. Consider someone like Lee. He has a very clearly labelled stance called Hitman stance. We know it's a stance because he gets new moves during it and he can't use any of his other moves. Then you have someone like Kazuya, who has a wave dash which is technically a stance because it opens up new moves and restricts other moves. It is not labelled as a stance though, so it can be very deceiving for newer players.
Okay.
On a quick side note, stance moves are normally quite powerful and beginner players can perceive them as very overpowered. The trick is when you identify someone in their stance, their pool of moves is dramatically restricted. so you only have to play around a handful of moves rather than the traditional fast moveset.
Okay, I see. And that's all the time, or some players
In Tekken,
do
everyone
some
has
players have still their moves when they're in stances?
access to generic throws, with a combination press of 1+3 or 2+4. You must be close to your opponent to do so, but you may extend the generic grab by holding forwards and then pressing the button combination. This will give you a little more reach. You may break
Alright, let me
either
see
a
that again.
position press of 1. In Tekken, everyone has access to generic throws, with a combination press of 1+3 or 2+4. You must be close to your opponent to do so, but you may extend the generic grab by holding forwards and then pressing the button combination. This will give you a little more reach. You may break either of these generic throws with a 1 or 2 press, but not both, during the beginning of your grapple animation. You may also duck all the generic throws and pretty much every other throw in the game except for a select few.
Yeah.
Characters have different unique throws, with everyone having an alternative command throw, which leads with both hands, requiring a 1+2 input to break. Other characters have special throws, which look like generic throws, but must be teched with a specific 1 or 2 input. You can identify these by recognizing the leading hand during the grab.
There's a lot. Yo, there's so much, bro. Oh no. Oh no. The fuck is a tornado? We haven't got to a tornado or a star yet, bro. Oh no. Oh, the movement too. I feel like the movement is definitely something I want to learn.
Grab, where if they lead with the left hand, you press 1 to break, and if they lead with the
Let me
right
see that
hand
again.
during the grab, 2 input. You can identify these by recognizing the leading hand during the grab, where if they lead with the left hand, you press 1 to break, and if they lead with the right hand, you press 2 to break.
Interesting.
Someone like King, who is a grappling specialist, can make it look like they're using a throw that would be broken with 1 input, only to have it require an alternative input. This is definitely the exception to the rule. It is important to note that if you click the wrong button during your grab, you get locked out of the other options, so you can't just mash every button. A great way to practice breaking grabs is to utilize Jin in training mode. Jin has access to 3 different grabs, each requiring a different button to break. This is a skill you'll build up slowly. It is more important to hit the correct button to solidify the correct response, rather than try and be quick with any random button. Speaking of throws, some characters have grabs which transition into more grabs, and then possibly even more. A notorious example
Facts.
of this
That boy
is
King.
King's rolling Death Cradle.
Damn, that boy. Yo, that boy moving. How much damage is
So
that?
he does his stance where he enters a wave dash and then does a little grab. He can then choose a select series of buttons that will open up a pathway to a new grab. Think of it like a flowchart, where if he clicks one series of buttons, he'll get one grab, but if he clicks another
Just a
series of
combo,
buttons, he'll
basically.
get a second grab. What you as a grappled person must do is absolutely mash either 1, 2, or 1+2.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's only one correct answer to break King's throws. Whilst I do recommend you mash something, it's much better in the long term to recognize the animation and try and mash the correct button. Now, if the King player fails to input the correct series of buttons, he'll simply let go during the middle of the chain throw. When in doubt, mash 1+2 against a King player, and if you see this animation, just spam 2.
Nah, that's difficult.
In Tekken, it's more important to avoid moves rather than try and block everything that comes your way. Defending is very difficult, and whilst it's a vital skill to learn, movement is key.
Hey man, I don't know about Tekken too much, but I know that movement was eating my ass when I was playing that beta and the demo.
When you confine it to a 2-dimensional plane. But if
Hey
you
man, he
implement
said
the
it,
quick side
and I was
step
right.
over there and try to avoid the attack altogether, this will create a whiff for the enemy, and a whiff is when the enemy hits nothing and is trapped in the ending lane.
That looks stupid as
You can get
hell.
extremely far in Tekken
Ew.
by backdashing once or twice when the opponent is near and creating this whiff. Tekken is notorious for being quite difficult to move properly with, so I would recommend practicing how to move around on an infinite stage whenever you're feeling quite rigid. A key
Yeah.
movement option to learn is the Korean backdash. What this term represents is cancelling your backdash with a down back input, leaving you to only have to input one extra
Down back input. Okay.
back for the second backdash. You can do a simpler input by using a backdash and then rolling your inputs from down to down back, then adding a
Let me get my fight stick. Where my food at? I ain't gonna lie. I just ordered something. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if anybody's in chat. I'm sorry for the viewers. I don't know if that was too loud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Hope that wasn't too loud. Let's see. Got my little fire stick right here. Still learning how to use it. Alright, let's see.
backdash. You can do a simpler input by using a backdash and then rolling your inputs from down to down back, then adding a supplementary back input. Sadly, this technique does not work for all characters, as some of them have a sway stance, which you'll enter instead of going into your backdash. Along with throw breaking, this technique is vital to learn long term. You should practice this every time you play, but it should be utilized with purpose. Normally, the fastest
I'm guessing the
move a
purpose is
character
just to
has
get away,
is a generic
right?
one jab. This jab is 10 frames. What that means is it takes 10 frames for the move to be able to activate.
And that's universally
connect
for
with
all
your opponent.
characters.
If you were to have two characters utilize their 10 frame move at the exact same time, they would both also get hit at the exact same time. This is known as a trade. If someone uses an 11 frame move and another person uses a 10 frame move at the exact same time, as you would imagine, the 10 frame move would land and interrupt the opponent first. This is also known as a counter hit.
Yeah.
It becomes slightly more complicated when you have frame advantage or frame disadvantage. Certain moves will give you plus frames, putting you in the advantage state. If you land your generic
I know about
one
frames,
jab
but
on a blocking opponent, you will be able to act one frame faster than your opponent. Since you're one frame ahead of your opponent, if you were both to do the 10 frame move as soon as you
I'll just watch it just in case I'm missing something with frames.
act, the person who was +1 would be able to strike the opponent first. Alternatively, if your moves have led you to be in minus frames, such as your opponent blocking a regular mid, you will be in the disadvantaged state. Your opponent then may act before you. It is a lot of time and effort to view your character's frame data, as moves have different frames depending on if they landed or if they were blocked, and then some have different frames again depending
Yeah.
if you landed a counter hit.
Facts. Alright, I didn't miss anything with that.
So now that we have an idea of what
Crush system. The system is different. It's heat system now. But I don't know if it's similar. Combos. Wall system. Okay, combos and wall system. Just in case combos have anything. Okay, play the video, please.
it can be quite deceiving in Tekken to check whether or not your string of moves is actually a true combo. When you first
I
open
wish
training
Tekken,
mode,
I don't know why they don't do this, but they should have like the combo hit system, like a lot of fighting games have. If they don't have the hit counter, it just, well, I'm pretty sure it does it, right?
throw
I
out
don't
a
know.
series of moves that will tell you
But if they don't, then they should definitely have
this may
the
actually not be a true combo.
hit combo.
To test if a combo is true, select the second action to guard all. This will enable the practice dummy to block whenever they're able to, allowing you to check the legitimacy of your combo. In Tekken, there are very few extended combos like you would find in other games. Instead, we have juggles.
Yeah.
To begin a juggle, you must launch your opponent. Normally this is done with a hop kick or a down forward 2. This will put your opponent into an airborne state. You can then hit them several times, with each hit becoming weaker.
Okay,
and
down
killing
forward 2. What's that? Down forward 2. Okay, I get it.
your opponent further and further away. You may also utilize a screw attack to bounce the opponent up, allowing you to catch up to them and land some bigger hits. You can only bounce them once with a screw attack though, as supplementary screw attacks will allow them to start teching. There are a few goals you should think about when you perform a juggle. These are doing as much damage as possible,
Of
pushing
course.
them as far as you can to a wall,
Of course.
or, if you have no walls, or maybe you can't reach the wall, set up your okazeme.
Of course. Alright.
Certain moves, most of them being screw attacks, will splat your opponent onto the wall. There are two main versions of the wall splat, a high wall splat and a low wall splat. You can only do a certain amount of moves onto the opponent while they're stuck on the wall before they start sliding down and are able to recover.
Okay.
Speaking of walls, if you click back and then up back, your character will do a wall jump.
Okay,
Sometimes your
didn't
wall
know
jump
that.
will just get you out of there, and other times your character will be able to recover. Speaking of walls, if you click back and then up back, your character will do a wall jump. Sometimes your wall
Wait,
jump
what?
will just get you out of
I
there.
think he messed that up. Back and then up back. I think he messed that up. Because it says back, back, up. I don't know, I'll see when I play.
And other times you'll attack.
And I'll probably watch this again.
If you juggle
Or another
your
video.
opponent to the wall, all moves bar a few will splat them automatically. This will allow you to begin your wall combo. Certain arenas have breakable walls, which will daze the opponent. Some also have balconies and other fun things. Now, specific to the temple stage, you can actually put your opponent through the ground with floor break moves. You have to see what moves of your character actually puts them through the floor. Sometimes they have to be on an airborne opponent, so just mess around and maybe look up online and see what people have to say.
Yeah, just a little bit of testing shit out. Labbing, you know. But cool little video. Definitely learned a lot from this. So yeah, I don't know if y'all learned anything from this for y'all beginners, but hey man, cool little video. I don't know if y'all have a video for me that could actually teach me, but I'm guessing like actually playing is better than like watching, you know. But anyways, cool little video. That is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on this video, subscribe for more content, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.